when you guys are working on this, when you were working on this movie, whether you're talking to Olivier or Juliette or whoever, did you have a target audience in mind? Like, are you saying, I hope these people see this movie and take X, Y, or Z away from it? Well, of course, but, who did you want to be first in line, and what did you want them to walk away from it thinking or doing differently? Because I get the sense that it was made for a reason.
Oh, man. I think people that are interested in watching others work, and I don't just mean like for movies, but just watching anyone's compulsive process to get from like point A to point B. Some people don't have that feeling when they wake up and they go like, yeah, okay, here I am, I go to my job and I live my life and I have my friends and whatever. And then there are some people that are like kind of tortured by something in the most beautiful way. And I love movies about people making movies because I love that. And so I think first on the list for me would be those guys. But then further down the line from that, just like, just generally, I think giving something, sharing your art, or sharing some expressive part of yourself takes a toll, and women are sensitive, and to see one woman at a certain stage of her life deal with another who's in a completely conversely different part of hers, and see that they can both really help each other and kind of enlighten each other in a certain way. And then also, like, I love the fact that they can't either, because sometimes your perspective is one thing and you just can never change it, and that's just what it is because that's how you feel and you're never going to be able to see anything differently. I would say just like it's I don't want to like exclude or men who are interested in women, but it's just like really it's interesting to watch. It's just interesting to watch two really differently spirited women talk about the same thing. It's rare. You never get to see that. It's rare to be able to watch like such an indulgent thought process, and there aren't too many people interested in watching stuff like that. So just anyone who would be interested in stuff like that is probably for you.
Well, it's sad because it actually happened more, I think, during Hollywood's golden age, when you would have, a movie like The Women or different ones where there's a lot of smart, developed female characters. Unfortunately, and I know this is like a big topic of discussion now, female directors are hard to come by, and developed parts. I mean, it's a big topic of discussion now. As somebody who wants to direct down the road, are you optimistic about that? Is it, are things getting better at all in your experience? You've worked with a lot of female directors.
I think there have been incredible movies made from a female perspective, like from forever, but that they're still incredibly rare. And the reason we talk about the ones that are good is because they're rare and, they stick out. And, that's hard for me to speak to because I've been so lucky and like so stimulated. I've never had a moment that I wasn't like, and this sounds wanky. There's no way to make this sound not completely wanky, but I've never not had a moment where I wasn't completely challenged or I didn't have opportunities in front of me that were really interesting and where I wanted to go. And I think that in the times that I have had those moments, if you're bored and you don't know what to do and you can't really find like where to put your energy, everyone who I really love and admire in my life is like, they're not the type of women to like sit around and talk about the fact that there's nothing out for them. It's like, okay, well, go tell a story, dude. Go do something. And that sounds, again, really stupid because not all actors are going to be able to be in a position where they can just like go tell a story. This job requires a ton of other people and a ton of other really unique circumstances to actually do the job. I'm ass lucky, and so I have never experienced that, but I think it is getting better. I mean, there are like there are really empowered, interesting women saying stuff. Focus on them, be inspired by them, and stop complaining about the fact that you don't have those opportunities. Like, make them,
Well,
even if it's not about having them for like be huge and famous and like interesting, it's like if you're bored, then just don't be bored. Like, go, what I mean?
The barrier for entry is pretty low these days. Anybody can go and make a movie, it seems. But one thing that I think is interesting is that, well, the movie asks a lot of questions about, as you say, growing older in public eye, in Hollywood, or rather in the entertainment industry. What's your take on it as somebody who plans to be in this for the long haul? I mean, are you? Does it scare you? Does it excite you? Because on the one hand, the story is a little bit, Juliet's character is a little bit kind of threatened by the situation.
Oh, she's crazy though.
But she's a little crazy. But on the other hand, Juliet is playing the lead character in this movie. So I mean, she's working, and you've worked with so many great actresses.
Maria Enders is crazy. I didn't mean like.
Yes, yeah, not Juliet. Stop calling Juliet anybody that was dialing to let her know. But no, but just to note, like Melissa Leone, Welcome to the Rileys, Julianne Moore, Still Alice, Jodie Foster in Panic Room. There's a lot of women who have who you've worked with who are examples of the fact that you can have a career that only gets better as it goes along. So what's your personal outlook for your work and your life in this business?
I think what I like, what anyone would really strive for was to feel. It sounds so totally inarticulate. Not bored, and not disappointed by the fact that as soon as you're not bored, that those things that always compelled you don't always need to be the same things. If this ceases to compel me, I will not be disappointed by the fact that I'm not an actor anymore, or if I can't find an area to be. Basically, if I always feel the way that I feel right now, which is really just constantly expansively explorative with amazing people, just people that really facilitate that, and if that left immediately, I would do something else, yeah, who knows, man? I don't know.
Well, last question from me, and then we'll take 3 from the audience, I believe, and then set everybody free. But basically, what have you made of the fact that a movie that came out, I believe, in April here, that was on the film festival circuit last year, has found such sort of favor and an embrace at this point, all this time later, and particularly, that your performance has had this kind of response that it's had. How does it feel to get some love?
Dude, it's awesome. I can't. It's weird. Yeah, I was like, I was really surprised by it, and in the best way, I've always been really. I'm so proud of everything that went into this. I was able to meet Olivier, who directed the movie. We just did another movie together, so I've gotten to know him really. I've really gotten to know more of him, which makes me even more proud of this, because now I'm like, yeah, dude, we did it. That's so cool. Like, even the Americans thought it was cool. Yeah, it was ages ago. It's a foreign film. It's really kind of diagonal in terms of story. It's not like the most straight down the line, easily digestible, entertaining movie. And it's also not extreme and drastic. And usually people in the States, people are like, oh, she got cancer and she hit her head and she's screaming and crying and that. It's like, oh, okay, well, that deserves some attention. So this was really surprising. I was like, it's a sort of subdued, thoughtful meditation that we all had a good time doing, and I'm glad that everyone liked it. And that's it.
Great. Okay, we're going to you, but let's just say up front, no propositions, solicitations, any of that nonsense, job offers, job requests. Let's just go right to the question, sir.
First of all, thanks for being here. So while watching the rehearsal scenes this time around, something came to mind, the idea of staying in the moment as an actress. Yet at the same time, actors always do, they always draw from certain things. So the idea of staying in the moment, is that some sort of paradox?
Yeah. Totally, it's so weird. Yeah, it's such a paradox. It's like how you plan for months, and 100 people, 300 people plan for months to have a moment that you just become completely spontaneous within. It makes no sense. And so, in terms of preparation for this, I am not Valentine, but the moments where I felt closest to her and where I felt the most honest, and also just in the moments where I felt everyone was being surprised by a certain idea that we kind of already knew, but that we rediscovered and on screen, which is what the goal is.